Hey everybody, I am AR Mar, and what I watched today is Book 1, Episode 13 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Blue Spirit. Today was a really fun episode, starting with the return of Commander Zhao, the commander that Zuko embarrassed a good few episodes later. This is about the, second, third time he's shown back up, and it really, I do love him trying to basically, ever since his embarrassment by Zuko, trying to capture the Avatar to basically go and ruin things for Zuko, to destroy him. It's this single-minded vendetta that feels distinctly like something that would happen in a culture like the Fire Nation, where they're obsessed with standing and honor and how you are viewed. To go, okay, this kid has mildly embarrassed me. I will destroy him and make sure he can never reclaim his honor. Especially for a character like Zhao, who I think he gets promoted to admiral in this episode, and yeah, he is definitely just doing this to screw over Zuko. So, and it starts with we see him getting or commandeering a platoon of some extremely skilled Fire Nation archers. As soon as this happens, we move right over to Sokka, who has a fever, he's hallucinating, and in the same moment, moments later, we see Katara getting sick too. Aang starts panicking, says he knows there's some healers nearby, he's gonna go see them, and takes off. Katara protesting, no, I'll be fine, but you can see Aang is super worried about her. And he's like, okay, I gotta go get the medicine now. We didn't have some quick scenes basically setting up that the Fire Nation is nearby. They know the Avatar's there. You get a quick thing of a Fire Nation soldier signaling that he spotted the Avatar. And then we go right back to Aang. He gets to the medicine hut and finds that there's only one healer left there, and she's kind of crazy. But, he gets her to tell him what he needs. He goes looking for it, and then he meets the archers we saw earlier, and there's some really cool archery going on. A lot of the time it looks like they're missing him completely, but given the situation, and especially what we find out later, it's quite likely they are attempting to miss him. They are just trying to pin him to things and stuff like that. Their mission is to capture him, not to kill. Though I do feel a bit bad for archers trying to fight someone whose weapon is literally the air. I mean, it can't be easy to try and hit someone accurately with an arrow when they can just keep moving the air and brushing the arrows aside. Though, Aang doesn't think of this too much. He's too busy, dodging and running. There's one point where Aang jumps off a cliff to shake his pursuers, and the archers, without hesitation, jump after him and show off, just how well-trained they are. We see one of them fire a rope arrow into a nearby tree and then use swinging on that, combined with the flexibility of the tree, to slow his momentum as he goes, basically turning what would have been a fatal fall into a quick swing down into the trees and continue following the Avatar. And then they show another really effective display of their skills and remind us that people without bending can be effective warriors in this world. When they pin one of Aang's arm to a tree, he tries to make an ice shield to block any further arrows while he frees his arm, and they immediately use several arrows in a row to create a weak spot and punch through the barrier, basically shattering it. And that was really awesome. It was a cool visual, even if it scientifically wouldn't make much sense. But hey, this is a world with magic bending powers, we can get past that, right? And then once they have Aang captured, Zhao makes it quite clear that he has no intention to kill the Avatar, because he knows that the Avatar would just be reincarnated and they'd have to start this search all over again. He intends to keep Aang, and keep Aang just barely alive, possibly torturing him or just plain denying him food to keep him weak so that he can't escape. And man, the more I see of Zhao, the more I hate of this bastard. That's the only real word I can think of him. Then we get to see we see the Blue Spirit come in not long after this. He sneaks into the fortress with some pretty awesome moves. I really love this sequence because it's just classic Assassin's Creed style. He goes in the back way, he sneaks in through the sewer, Later, he gets to a part where he has to take out a few guards, and instead of taking them all in a group, which some people would be like, yeah, he should have just taken them all out in one big sequence, because that would have been more badass. I love that, like, he takes one all out in a side hallway, uses the noise to lure two more over, and then with, like, stealth, surprise, and tactics, he takes them out. Then with the third one, he's about to sound the alarm, and a throwing knife, silences the alarm, and then he takes out the third guy quite effectively and frees Aang. Excuse me. And then, like, after freeing Aang, we flash back for a moment to Katara so that, they can show us that Katara and Sokka are still alive, so that they can, want to make it clear. And we see that, like, she's been begging Momo to bring her water, and Momo's trying to help, but, he's a lemur. He's brought her anything but water, including a crown that he has helpfully placed atop Katara's head. Katara's sort of, like, laying there going, okay, where is Aang? What's taking him so long? And Sokka looks over to her and is like, who's this Aang you keep speaking about, your highness? That made me laugh. Like, that was a genuinely funny moment in the episode, especially after all the tension we've had with, like, them being sick, Aang getting captured, the really tense scene of the Blue Spirit sneaking in. It was kind of fun to have this little moment, and it probably made me laugh louder because of the tension before it. After this part, we get a really awesome sequence that I really don't want to spoil too much, that really shows off the combat skills of the Blue Spirit and Aang's own airbending skills as they sneak out of the fortress. Well, not sneak, sorry. As they fight their way out of the fortress, because Aang, being Aang, set off all the alarms. And it is an awesome sequence, and really inventive sometimes, in how Aang tries to get around the various ways the Fire Nation is stopping him from escaping. I mean, I don't want to go into too much details, because really you have to watch the scene for yourself, and I'm trying to keep this series as spoiler-free as possible, though, sometimes I can't really do that. But then, like, as they're about to escape, they get cornered. The gate closes, there's nothing they can do, but Zhao gives them an opening when he says, I need the Avatar alive. One of the dumbest things you can say to escaping prisoners, really. As then the Blue Spirit immediately puts a sword to Aang's throat and starts backing away, and Zhao, we know he wants the Avatar alive, but he could have kept that hidden. Zhao then, of course, orders everyone to stand down, because he can't have the Avatar just reincarnating and lose him like that. Of course, once they're out of the gate, Zhao just grabs the archers from earlier and says, okay, take out that guy in the mask. And they do, with another amazing precision shot. They knock him clean out. Of course, they don't kill him, partly because this is a children's show. And it's in that moment that we get a hint, a very, obvious hint, who the Blue Spirit is. And then a moment later, it's Zuko. And then a moment later, Aang is faced with a decision. Does he escape on his own, and leave Zuko to the approaching Fire Nation troops, or does he save this guy who's been relentlessly pursuing him across, the entire world so far? In the end, Aang, being Aang, saves Zuko, and there's a cool moment of him just sitting there going, is it possible we could be friends? Do we have to be enemies? I had a friend in the Fire Nation before all this started. If we had known each other back 100 years ago, would we have been friends? And, Zuko just shoots a fire blast at him. Aang leaves to go tend to his friends. And it's kind of ended on that sad note where both characters seem really confused. And I really love that kind of complicated moment where you've got Zuko kind of questioning, why is he, does he hate the Avatar? Well, not really. He's just doing this for the sake of his honor, for the sake of getting back what he lost. And that's also why, there could be some question from some people, why would Zuko go in and betray another member of the Fire Nation to free the Avatar, when his entire mission is to capture the Avatar? Well, that's pretty simple, obviously, because Zuko, in order to get his honor back, to get back his home, his family, his nation, he has to capture the Avatar himself. He can't let someone else get the credit. He can't let someone else bring Aang in. It has to be his hand that brings the Avatar in to his father. That's the only way he's getting anything back. And, like, I kind of like it. This was really clever that they had him do this. And that they had him solve, like, the problem of, like, you know, Zhao about to screw him over by... with, like, this clever way. Because obviously he couldn't be seen helping the Avatar by Zhao, or that would have ruined everything, too. But through this, he was able to free the Avatar and basically make sure, or at least make more certain, that he'd be the one to capture him. And that was pretty awesome. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about this episode. I'll see y'all another time. Bye-bye for now.